The harbor soul. When your kindness becomes your prison. Have you ever felt like a harbor? A safe haven where ships always return when the seas are fierce and storms rage wild. They dock desperately, seeking fuel, a place to heal their wounds, a moment of shelter from chaos. You open your arms, offering refuge, listening to their tales of the vast oceans they've crossed. And then, when skies clear and the sun returns, they weigh anchor and sail away again, sometimes with nothing more than a hurried wave goodbye, leaving you alone with the silence, the gentle lapping of waves, and a vast, echoing emptiness. If this image touches something deep within your soul, if it feels painfully familiar, then this might be the conversation you've been waiting for. We're here today to sit together and confront a silent, aching truth, an experience that so many of us quietly carry. The feeling of being someone who always gives, but is never truly valued. This isn't a story about keeping score or demanding reciprocity. This is a story about boundaries, about life energy, and about the sacred worth of who you are as a person. The harsh reality is this: unlimited giving doesn't make you a saint. It can slowly and silently turn you into a victim in the very story of beautiful kindness you thought you were writing. It erodes you. It drains your strength. And it leaves you with an indescribable emptiness. But before we dive deeper, let's pause and ask ourselves, how did we get here? How did our natural impulse to care for others transform into something that diminishes rather than fulfills us? The first signal that you're walking down this one-way street is realizing that you've become their emergency rescue station. When friends or family face crises, when they need advice or someone to listen at 3 a.m., you're the first person they call. But when joy arrives, when they get promoted or throw a celebration party, you're the last person they remember, if you're remembered at all. Your presence has unconsciously become linked to their problems, not to your intrinsic value as a human being. You're like an umbrella. People only seek you out when it's raining. They shelter under you, grateful during the storm. But the moment the sun appears, they fold you up, place you in a corner, and forget your existence until the next downpour. Think about your phone for a moment. When it rings late at night, when that familiar name appears on the screen, what's your first thought? Is it excitement at hearing from someone you care about? Or is it that sinking feeling in your stomach, that anticipation of another crisis you'll be expected to solve? Psychologists link this to what they call the savior complex, a subtle trap where your self-worth becomes entangled with rescuing others. The Stoic philosopher Seneca taught that kindness is necessary, but he also emphasized the use of reason. Is your help truly empowering someone, or is it merely enabling their dependence? Here's a question that might sting. When was the last time someone called you just to share good news? When did someone last reach out simply because they missed talking to you, not because they needed something from you? Wise kindness, not blind kindness, should be our goal. This leads us to a second, more personal sign. Your boundaries are nothing more than lines drawn in sand. You find it incredibly difficult to say no. Your schedule, emotions, and energy, they always seem to be placed second to others' needs. Your soul is like a garden that you've cultivated, and boundaries are the fence protecting that sacred space. Without a fence, anyone can walk in, trample your grass, and leave their trash behind. In modern psychology, this is called having weak boundaries, an instinct often formed in childhood, where pleasing others became the key to receiving love. But let's examine this more closely. When you consistently prioritize others' needs over your own, what message are you sending? To them, certainly, but more importantly, what message are you sending to yourself? The great philosopher Aristotle spoke of the golden mean, arguing that virtue lies not in extremes, but in balance. True generosity is a wise and discerning virtue, knowing when to give, but also knowing when to stop in order to protect yourself in a form of necessary and noble self-love. Consider this scenario. A friend repeatedly asks you to cover their shifts at work. Each time you say yes, even though it means sacrificing your weekends, your rest, your time with family. You tell yourself you're being helpful, being a good friend. But after months of this pattern, you're exhausted, resentful, and your friend shows no appreciation. In fact, they've begun to expect it. What would Aristotle say? That true friendship involves mutual respect and reciprocity. That your friend, by continuously taking without giving, is not acting as a true friend. And that you, by enabling this dynamic, are not practicing wise virtue. You're practicing self-destruction disguised as kindness. Perhaps the clearest sign is the feeling that follows your acts of giving. After doing something kind, you should feel warm and fulfilled. But what if instead you feel an emptiness, a deep fatigue, or even a simmering silent resentment? This is a serious warning sign. It's as if you filled their tank with your own life energy. You are a candle, using your flame to light others. But if you continuously give your flame to candles without wicks, you'll soon melt into a cold puddle of wax forgotten, extinguished in the darkness. This experience is called emotional labor, the exhausting work of managing your emotions for others' benefit. When it only flows one way, it leads to burnout. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus taught us to focus only on what we can control. You can control your acts of giving, but you cannot control their gratitude. If you tie your happiness to their recognition, you're giving them the keys to your inner peace. Let me share something that might resonate. Have you ever noticed how giving to certain people leaves you energized, while giving to others drains you completely? The difference isn't in the act itself, it's in the dynamic. Healthy relationships involve an energy exchange. Toxic ones involve energy theft. When you give from a place of genuine love and choice, you feel replenished even in the giving. When you give from obligation, fear of conflict, or desperate need for approval, you feel depleted. Your body and soul are trying to tell you something important. Are you listening? Finally, the most subtle and insidious signal. When you become the defense attorney for their behavior. When they forget to thank you, when they break promises, when they disappear after getting what they need, you make excuses for them. They must be busy. They're going through a hard time. You become the defender of the very people who are hurting you. Imagine you're rowing a boat with someone who's drilling holes in the bottom. Instead of demanding they stop, you simply row harder and bail water faster. This is a classic case of what psychologists call cognitive dissonance. To reduce the discomfort of knowing you deserve respect but aren't receiving it, your brain distorts reality, rationalizing their behavior to make it acceptable. It's a defense mechanism that's destroying your self-respect. Plato spoke of justice within the individual soul. When you make excuses for others, you're allowing your fear of conflict to overthrow reason. Demanding respect isn't selfish. It's an act of restoring justice to your own soul. But here's what's really happening beneath the surface. You're not just making excuses for them. You're making excuses for yourself. You're avoiding the painful truth that you've been allowing this treatment. You're postponing the difficult conversation, the boundary setting, the potential conflict that might arise from standing up for yourself. This avoidance feels safer in the short term, but it's devastating in the long run. Every time you excuse their behavior, you're teaching them that this treatment is acceptable. You're training them to devalue you. Let's dig deeper into why this happens. Often, this pattern begins in childhood. Perhaps you learned that love was conditional, that you had to be useful, helpful, or selfless to be worthy of affection. Maybe you grew up in a household where your emotional needs were secondary to everyone else's drama and crises. These early experiences shape our neural pathways, creating what psychologists call attachment patterns. If you learned that your worth was tied to your utility, your adult brain will continue seeking validation through service to others. But here's the cruel irony. The more you give without boundaries, the less people value what you offer. It's basic human psychology. We tend to take for granted what's always freely available. Your constant availability doesn't increase your worth in their eyes. It decreases it. This isn't conscious malice on their part, necessarily. It's simply human nature. We value what's scarce, what's earned, what comes with some investment on our part. When you give endlessly without requiring anything in return, you're actually conditioning people to devalue you. What does this pattern cost you over time? Let's be honest about the real price you're paying. First, there's the obvious cost. Your energy, your time, your resources. But the hidden costs are far more devastating. There's the slow erosion of your sense of self. The gradual dimming of your own dreams and ambitions as they're always pushed aside for others' urgencies. There's the loneliness, the deep, aching loneliness of being surrounded by people who only see you as a solution to their problems, never as a whole person with your own needs, dreams, and struggles. There's the resentment that builds like sediment at the bottom of a river, eventually poisoning the very relationships you thought you were nurturing. And perhaps most tragically, there's the loss of your own authentic voice. When you spend so much energy managing others' emotions and problems, you lose touch with your own feelings, your own needs, your own truth. You become a stranger to yourself. So what's the alternative? How do we break free from this pattern without becoming cold or selfish? The answer lies in understanding what healthy boundaries actually are. Boundaries aren't walls built to keep people out. They're gates with hinges, designed to let the right people in while keeping harmful dynamics at bay. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "What is not good for the hive cannot be good for the bee." The inverse is equally true. What is not good for the bee for you cannot be good for the hive. Protecting your energy and establishing healthy boundaries isn't selfish. It's essential. It's how you teach people to treat you. Think of boundaries as the rules of engagement for your relationships. They're not punishments or ultimatums. They're clear, kind communications about what you will and won't accept. They're acts of self-respect that actually make you a better friend, partner, and human being. When you have clear boundaries, your giving becomes a choice rather than a compulsion. Your help becomes more valuable because it's given freely, not extracted through manipulation or emotional blackmail. Recognizing these signals isn't a call to become bitter or closed off. It's the first brave step toward reclaiming sovereignty over your inner world. You are not just a harbor for storms. You are not just an umbrella for rain. You are the entire ocean. You are the whole garden. You are the infinite sky. You can begin with small but powerful actions. Creating a sacred pause before saying yes. Practicing the art of saying no kindly and simply, and learning to receive as well as give. Start with this revolutionary act. Begin treating yourself with the same kindness you show others. When you wouldn't expect a friend to tolerate certain treatment, don't tolerate it yourself. When you would encourage a friend to rest, to pursue their dreams, to stand up for themselves, extend that same encouragement inward. Begin to notice the people in your life who give back, who appreciate you, who see you as more than just a problem solver. Invest more of your energy there. Let the takers gradually fade into the background as you stop feeding their endless demands. This isn't about becoming selfish, it's about becoming whole. It's about creating relationships based on mutual respect rather than one-sided service. It's about rediscovering who you are beyond your usefulness to others. Remember this truth. Giving is a beautiful virtue, but cherishing yourself is the foundation of all virtue. Because you cannot pour water from an empty vessel. Your worth isn't determined by how much you can endure, how many problems you can solve, or how many people you can rescue. Your worth is inherent, unchanging, sacred. It exists whether you're helping someone or resting in solitude, whether you're needed or simply being. The people who truly love you will celebrate your boundaries, not fight them. They'll want you to be happy, fulfilled, and whole, not depleted in service to their needs. Anyone who gets angry when you start taking care of yourself was never truly interested in your well-being in the first place. As Ernest Hemingway once wrote, "The most painful thing is losing yourself in the process of loving someone too much and forgetting that you are special too. You are not a harbor existing solely for other storms. You are a complete universe, deserving of care, respect, and love, including your own." The greatest gift you can give the world isn't your endless service. It's your authentic, healthy, boundaries-intact self. Because when you honor your own worth, you teach others to honor it too. And that's when real, mutual, life-giving relationships become possible. The harbor is beautiful, but it's not your prison. You have the key. You've always had the key.